Well, hi there. Welcome to this Flash tutorial. In this tutorial, we're just going to go over how to draw a robot using some of the basic tools that you'll find in Flash. So I'm using an older version here, Flash CS4. It still does the job. The newer versions Flash Animate, but let's get started. So Flash is the program with the red box, has FL on it. When you open it up, first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Create New Document. We're going to create a file actionscript 3. So when I click on that, it looks something like this. Now, what you're going to want to do is in the top corner here, you probably open it up and it says Essentials. What we want is Animator, because we're just going to be animating today. A couple things too you'll notice right off the bat. You've got a timeline here. You've got your tools. You've got different colors and palettes on the left-hand side, and I'll go over some of those on a later tutorial. Right here under Properties, though, we want to set this to, you're going to click on Edit. Make sure that your document is 960 pixels wide, 540 high. We're going to change this to 30 frames per second, and we're going to click on Make Default. By making it default, every time we open Flash, it's always going to be at this dimension, and I'm going to hit OK. Over here, this is our stage. Now, I can't see everything right now, so I can click on this, and I can show it at 50%. Right here is everything that's going to appear in my animation. Okay? So let's get drawing our robot. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pencil tool, and when you click on the pencil tool, you'll get different options over here. Pencil mode, I want it to be straight. I'm a little bit crooked, so I'm going to make sure that my lines are straight. Over here in my properties, whenever you click on a tool, you'll see more properties for that tool on this side. I'm going to make a width of maybe 4.7, and I'm going to start drawing some robot eyes. So I'm going to do something like this. See, it's pretty crooked, but watch what happens. Flash, ta-da, automatically straightens it for me. So I'm going to do a couple of eyes. Not too bad, something like that. I'm going to draw a mouth and something like this. Boom. Right? Now, if I wanted to fill this with a different color, I can click on the paint bucket tool, click over here. I kind of want this purpley color. I can fill that eyeball and fill this eyeball, and I can fill the mouth. So I've got some robot eyes and I've got a mouth. The selection tool is kind of fun. If I click on the selection tool, watch what happens when I get close to a corner. I get kind of that angled sign. I can click and drag up and just change my eyeballs a little bit. With my mouth as well, if instead of clicking on a corner, if I hover the mouse towards the middle, I can click and drag down and I can get curved lines. There we go. I've got a happy robot. I'm going to make a body now for my robot. I'm going to click on the rectangle tool. Now, just like in other Adobe programs, if you left click and hold, you'll get different options. I'm going to just click on the rectangle tool for now. I like this fill. I'm going to click and drag out a body. Something like that. Okay. Another fun tool is the rectangle primitive tool. If I click on that, look at my rectangle options here. I'm going to unlink here, and let's say I want to have a bit of a curve. I'm going to type in 20 in my rectangle options, like so. And I'm going to click and drag out an arm like that and let go. Now, let's say I want to have the same arm on this side. If I select this arm and hit Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste and Center, I get another arm over here. I don't like how it's positioned though. It's not facing the right way. So a very important tool in Flash animating is this one, the Free Transform tool. If I click on that tool, I'll get this funky squares around my icon, a white circle in the middle. If I go to a corner and click and drag around, my arm will face the right way. I can place it there. Let's say I want to have some fun hands. If I click on the rectangle tool, let's choose the oval primitive tool this time. I'm going to draw some circle hands. But let's say I want to have a bit of a clawed hand. I can change the oval options, like so, changing the inner radius. There we go. Something like that. And now I have kind of this fun hand. I can copy and paste another one. And I'm going to drag it over there. And again, I can rotate it with the free transform tool. Perfect. My robot's starting to look a little bit better. Now, my robot is kind of just in this empty white space. Right? Let's say I want to have a colored background there. I can change the color of my stage, is one way. Another way is I can use my layers. So Adobe, just like in Photoshop, I can add layers. So I'm going to call this layer my robot layer. I'm going to make a new layer. And let's say I want to make a rectangle. I want a different color. Let's say it's going to be nighttime. I don't want a stroke. I'm going to choose a rectangle and I'm going to call this night sky. For this layer, you notice there's nothing there. So in Flash, if there's blank there, there's nothing there. Watch what happens when I drag a rectangle out. Now I have something there, but my robot's gone. My robot's still there, but because of my layers, my robot is underneath the night sky. So I'm going to click and hold down on night sky and put it underneath the robot. Ta-da! My robot's back. Whew. I was a little bit worried there. Now, let's say I don't want to mess up my night sky. I can lock that layer so that, yeah, I don't accidentally mess up. So I'm going to go back to my robot layer. And I'm going to put some stars in my night sky. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this stars. Enter. And to make stars, I can click on the rectangle tool and choose my polystar tool. My polystar tool, I can make different sided polygons. So if I click on my options tool over here, I can choose, I don't know, a 7-sided star, maybe a 0.25 star point. And I'm going to choose star here. I'm going to click OK. I'll just do traditional yellow star. And I'm going to draw a few stars in my night sky, like so. Something like that. There we go. So we've done it. We've done a robot. We have it in its own layer. We have some stars, and we've used things like our pencil tool and our rectangle tools to make a basic robot. And in the next tutorial, we're going to learn how to do frame-by-frame animation to get our robot moving.